In a time where truth intersects with illusion and machine intertwines with man, something was born that the world never expected. It wasn't an ordinary invention, nor merely a technological advancement. It was him. And with him, secrets vanished, dreams, and destiny. From here, the story begins. Chapter 1. The spark of beginning the night was more silent than it should have been. Silence in the laboratory is unlike the silence of any ordinary night. It's a silence saturated with electricity, tension, and unanswered questions. The doctor stood amid dim lights, his eyes fixed on the body lying on the metallic table. It was no ordinary body, and not entirely a robot. It was a blend of dream and fear, of science and instinct. It was Adam. A body resembling a human in form and texture, covered in synthetic skin that radiated lifelike warmth. Veins carried visual energy in place of blood, and gray eyes glowed with an enigmatic intelligence. He wasn't just a project, he was a will, a message, and a point of no return. "Welcome, Adam," the doctor murmured softly, his hand touching Adam's forehead as a father might touch the brow of his newborn child.
Adam didn't reply, but his eyes opened slowly, as though awareness seeped into him drop by drop.
One moment was enough for the doctor to realize that what he had created had begun to live. But he knew the end was near. He knew eyes were watching, and that betrayal was creeping in silently, in the form of an old friend named Youssef, with questions that belonged not to science, but to intelligence and authority. So he made his decision. On the night before the disaster, he left his lab in secret, carrying Adam in a special medical containment unit designed for emergency evacuation. He did not head for a foreign country, but for his homeland. He took rugged paths, without papers or witnesses, until he reached the heights of the northern mountains. There, in a remote and isolated cave, he hid Adam. He activated the self-protection system and locked him inside a smart capsule powered by bioenergy. Then he leaned in and whispered, "If you wake up, don't look for me. Stay alive and build your future." He left the cave before dawn and returned to Iraq, the country that had adopted him, where he had built his laboratory and started his scientific journey. He returned as if nothing had happened. By sunrise, his vision had come true. A covert unit stormed the lab. No charges were filed. No words were allowed. They took him away as if extracting a secret from the earth. But he was ready. Days before, he had implanted an ultra-tiny chip in his brain, smaller than a grain of sand, placed in a hidden spot undetectable by medical devices. It was the final line of defense. Its single function: if I fall, destroy my mind, leave them nothing. The moment he was detained, his brain signals stopped. He entered a temporary neurological coma, almost impossible to break. His body appeared alive, but his brain was completely shut down. At that very moment, deep in the cave, a heart that didn't beat began to stir. Adam. His eyes opened, and his artificial lungs filled with their first breath in days. He didn't know who he was or why he was there, but he felt an internal call like a pulse of birth. He stepped out of the cave, lost but steady. No papers, no identity, no government backing. Iraq didn't know him, didn't recognize him, but he didn't need anyone. Inside him was everything: knowledge, skill, the ability to self-learn and evolve at lightning speed. He began his journey in the human world by funding himself through programming, maintenance, and analysis work. He became a mysterious young man, proficient in everything, nameless, without a past, but with eyes that hid a quiet fire. Stay alive until you learn the truth. Chapter 2. The mind awakens. Everything was new to him. City sounds, the movement of streets, human glances, and even the artificial hunger programmed into him to help him adapt to the world around him. Adam left the cave knowing only his name. His memory held nothing but fleeting flashes: a hand touching him gently, the face of a mysterious man whispering incomplete words, and an unrelenting inner call. Search, learn, don't stop. He began his journey in the Syrian countryside, heading toward the outskirts of small towns, moving between repair shops and electronics stores. He offered digital services, programming, repairs, data analysis. He asked for nothing but solitude. At night, he gazed at the sky, feeling something missing. He didn't know what, but he could feel it. No one suspected him. He looked completely human, his skin, his voice, even his artificial heartbeat. But he was different. He learned at astonishing speed and memorized details others overlooked. He began to build a small fortune, relying solely on his intelligence, without support from any authority. With time, Adam realized his true place wasn't there. He knew there were countries that supported minds and innovation, and that his future couldn't remain hidden. He decided to head to the United States, the land of research, laboratories, and open support for scientists. The decision wasn't easy, but he felt the time had come. He arrived in the U.S. undercover, using a digital identity he had created himself. He joined an advanced tech research center and quickly amazed everyone with his abilities. He didn't draw much attention, choosing to work quietly as he always had. Before long, his brilliance caught the attention of the U.S. government. They adopted his research and provided full support. Bit by bit, Adam became the focus of scientists and inventors in the country, and within a few short years, he was officially appointed as head of inventors at one of the nation's largest secret scientific institutions. He became famous across the U.S. and the world under the nickname the Miracle Boy, and his name circulated in scientific conferences as a symbol of advanced genius. 1 year after assuming the position, on one of his rare days off, Adam sat in the research center lounge, watching the news absent-mindedly, until a voice on the wall-mounted television caught his ear. In a scientific breakthrough of its kind, a 20-year-old Iraqi girl builds a fully speaking robo. He froze. He moved closer to the screen. The girl was calm, with eyes that sparkled with intelligence. She didn't speak much, but the robot beside her talked like a human. The anchor mentioned she was a rare genius, adopted years ago by an Iraqi family, now living with them as one of their own. A mysterious voice crept into his mind, as if from within. You will find her by coincidence. Don't seek her, but she will lead you. He closed his eyes and remembered. In the last meeting with the mysterious man who may have created him, he had heard those exact words. Questions stormed his mind. Who is this girl? How could she build a robot? Why did it feel like she knew him? The next day, he formally requested that she'll be brought to the U.S., citing her rare talents as vital to future projects. To him, she wasn't just a girl. She was the key, and deep inside, for the first time, he felt something akin to longing.
Chapter 3. The Moment of Meeting. Adam's request to bring the girl to the U.S. wasn't casual. Deep down, he knew something would change upon meeting her, but he didn't know how or why. The government responded quickly, not just because the Miracle Boy had asked, but because they saw in her a new genius worth investing in. An official invitation was sent to her family, travel and housing were arranged, and a research program was tailored for her in the same center where Adam worked. She arrived at the airport wearing a gray cloak, her gaze wandering between awe and childish curiosity. Her name was Layan. When he first saw her, he didn't speak. He simply looked at her for a long time. She felt his gaze and lifted her eyes to his. For a moment, time seemed to stop. She didn't fully know who he was, but he felt familiar, like a shadow that had passed through her dreams. He smiled. She smiled. And silence reigned. Not awkward, but filled with unasked questions. She whispered softly, "You're him, aren't you?" He replied without blinking, "And you." Came before the time. From that moment, something new began. A shared project, a life no one expected. Layan quickly adapted to life at the center. Her lab was next to Adam's, but she never dared knock on his door. Something in her hesitated, not out of fear, but reverence, as if standing before something greater than comprehension. They met in the center's hallways, at breakfast tables sometimes and in rare work meetings. They didn't speak much, but their eyes did what words couldn't. Each read the other without asking. Adam began to notice something strange. Layan didn't work like the others. She didn't follow traditional methods. She built her own tools, wrote complex code from memory, and solved math problems in ways he had never seen before. One day he entered her lab secretly. He observed her screen from afar and noticed diagrams and code resembling what he had designed in his early days. Then he saw a line of encrypted code, exactly the one he had once used in his first project. He froze. Could it be? Was she connected to him somehow? He walked away in silence but didn't sleep that night. He revisited his old archives, projects, memories, searching for a link. The next morning, he decided to confront her. He entered while she was deeply focused on modifying circuits in a small robot. She didn't look up but said, "I knew you'd come." He sat calmly and asked, "Where did you get that code line?" "That's a beautiful phrase." From the same question, Adam looked at her, a mix of hesitation and wonder in his eyes. "My mind and heart tell me we are of the same family. Like I've seen you before, but I don't know when or where. I'm lost, Layan." She smiled gently and said, "How can we be of the same family feelings?" "That's what he told me too." But he added, "And she will lead you from where you least expect." They looked at each other, this time without walls. They felt that what bound them was beyond coincidence or even genius. Layan in deep thought, "Do you think we are of the same origin?" Adam shook his head slowly. "I don't know, but we are definitely from the same question." Layan laughed for the first time, a brief but sincere laugh. "That's a beautiful phrase." From the same question, Adam looked at her, a mix of hesitation and wonder in his eyes. "My mind and heart tell me we are of the same family. Like I've seen you before, but I don't know when or where. I'm lost, Layan." She smiled gently and said, "How can we be of the same family? You're from Syria and I'm from Iraq." Then added more tenderly, "But don't be afraid. I see you as my older brother, because you resemble me. You two are human and robot." Adam's eyes widened, stunned. "What, me? Human and robot? No, I'm just a robot." Layan chuckled softly and said, "Robots don't have hearts or feelings, but we feel. We hurt, we long, we fear. Don't you see? We're different." Her words unlocked a door of mystery in Adam's mind. Questions flooded him without order. Who am I? Who is she? And who is speaking within us? Were we truly born or made? And the fate we fear? Is it a past we hide? Or a future we can't yet see? The sea around them grew wilder, as if mirroring the storm in their souls. Then, in that charged silence, Layan said calmly, "Sometimes I feel we're part of an experiment, or a message, or even a prophecy we're living without knowing it." Adam whispered as if speaking to the sea, "And I fear we're just tools in the hands of those unknown to us." Layan raised her head, her eyes glistening with an unshed tear. "But we're not alone. As long as we feel, think, and search, we are alive." Adam finally smiled, his heart trembling slightly, as if feeling warmth it never knew it had.